Good morning, everybody. Good morning, all. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday for all you hard workers out there that uh, are really looking forward to the weekend. Applaud all the hard workers out there, all right? Keep the world going round. Uh, Mike, how much, okay, let me set the table. Oh, first of all, thank you for sharing, subscribing, commenting, and all that. I got to put that in there because I really do appreciate it. Unlike those other ungrateful, leave it at that. All right. Uh, I appreciate your support. Maybe 500 subs by Christmas, but let's just keep just ride with me. I'll ride with you. Let's just keep the ball rolling. I was censored and everything else for a long time, and all of a sudden I'm starting to, they turned it on again. So I really got to watch what I say from now on, and I'm not doing any more political things. No. Whatever politics, however that those chips fall, let it fall. It's all a big puppet show anyways. So why sacrifice my channel for even the Republicans? No. Got to be smart. The truth serum. Let's get to the thumbnail, my dear friends, with all that being said. How much is Mike Franzese really worth? Of course, there's going to be a lot of speculation and a lot of contradictions. But my godfather was around years ago, and even as an old man, before Mike Franzese was a household name as far as YouTube, social media, he talked about that in just brief conversations and things about what was going on, and this was after the fact. He moved to my town as a senior citizen, and we used to talk about a lot of things, and some of them were mob related. Not all. I mean, we talk about regular current events and things. So I remember, forgive me, I can't remember things verbatim with total recall like Mike Franzese and Sammy Buccarano. But I thought I heard him say $1 billion. There was a racket, but there was other players in there. There was a lot more hands in the cash register, which is understandable. And Google, how much is Mike Franzese worth? Let's see. Come on and have a coffee. Let's Google it. Just for our head. Let's see however the Google search gets their information and what they would report when you ask this question. Is it immature? Is it immature? Maybe it is. But I just want to see what they report here. That's all. Celebrity net worth has him down for net worth $1 million. Celebrity net worth, whatever network that is, you're way off. Wealthy Genius has his net worth down as $1 million. Wow, this Mike Franzese is really good. Now, he's got a lot of revenue generated from different revenue sources. Investments, he's selling books, and then he's got this church where he might be doing business as the church and going as a nonprofit to hide the income. Because you and I very well know that he's worth a lot more. Okay, idle net worth. Hang in there with me, folks. Hang in there, my good people. idlenetworth.com has net worth 30 billion. So one search has Mike down as $1 million, his net worth. Another search has him down for 30 billion. Quite a discrepancy there. And of course, all these sources are subject to scrutiny and everything else, but it's just for your head, just for some innocent curiosity. That's all. I say a lot of things about Mike Franzese, and I truly believe, though, he is a good person and he's for the United States of America, because I do agree with and applaud his political commentary about the state of America. I do appreciate that. You know, the guy's 72 years old or maybe even older, but, you know, and, you know, sometimes I don't agree with the stories he says, but who cares? It's entertainment. But how can you have him 30 billion on one site and 1 million on another? Because the man is a simple genius, that he knows the tax system. He knows the nonprofit system. He knows doing business as the DBA, the corporate. Well, he surely knows it, because they did all those DBAs, those different businesses, when they were doing the tax. He was an expert way back then, and how to avoid the IRS and the tax, you know, and everything else pertaining to reporting revenue, taxable income. And he knows all those landmines. He knows all that. The guy is so smart, naturally smart, that he knows how to maneuver within that. And of course, he's got old money from the tax scheme. He's got new money because he's making a ton off of social media. He's got products, books, boom, boom, boom. He's like, you know, and I talk a little shit about him here and there, that he's selling trinkets on the corner, but God bless him. He's a born hustler. Maybe I'm just a little jealous. Maybe. But jealous or a little angry, because I would wish he donated some money. He's got that breakout foundation, or break something. He's got a foundation out there in California, but it's just another shelter. It's just another tax shelter. How much is the community really benefiting? I hope they're benefiting well. But you could put these paper-made foundations and nonprofits, you could put that all on paper, but you and me and anybody else, Joe Blow around America, we might be really impressed if we heard about Mike Franzese breaking ground for a 200-room facility for the needy. We might be impressed by his actions and goodwill if we saw he was putting in $1 million food pantry or a crisis center. We might really get impressed. Anybody could put a paper-made foundation like the Breaking Out Foundation, I think that he has, which is a nonprofit that he could write off anyways. Yeah, anybody can do that. But you folks that ride with me and know how I think, when the rubber hits the road and the boots hit the ground, Who is benefiting at the end of the day? How much did you get really accomplished, Mike, with your Breaking Out Foundation? I would hope it is successful and it helps people on the ground. But I'm the kind of guy that if I got $5 between me and starvation, I'll give $1 to a hobo without judgment. That's the kind of guy I am. And if I was in your position, I would come off with some of that money and quit worrying about tax exemptions and nonprofits and put some serious juice back into the community I was living in. Oh, Mike started the Breaking Out Foundation, nonprofit. He'll profit from the nonprofit. He will profit from the nonprofit because he'll write all that off toward his real income. So he will profit from the nonprofit, accounting wise and tax situations wise. But forgive me, I will not be impressed until I see a story about this Mike Franzese putting up a little penny, 5 million, 10 million, which is it's pocket change to the man. Do you want to impress somebody with your little nonprofit and your tax exemption, paper mache, paper made foundations and all that? The intelligent people with any intelligence and intellect and knowledge out there can see right through that. Impress us. Break ground on a $10 million facility. Impress us. Break ground on a $5 million food pantry. Impress us. Break ground on a $5 million crisis center. Impress us, bro. And I don't get many viewers here. And I'm a whisper in the wind, but I'm a loud whisper. I talk. But we could be, this channel could be whatever you want it to be. This channel could be whatever I want it to be. But let's do some thinking. When you see these gangsters and what they're buying and what they're selling and what you're buying and everything else. And Mike's got a Patreon channel and he's selling cookbooks and wine and he's selling everything under the sun. Tax-free because he puts it under some church name or some foundation name that's nonprofit and tax exempt. Really? You'll pick the crumb off the floor just so the mouse won't get the crumb on the floor. You'll pick the crumb up, Mike. Thank you, my folks, my friends. Let's hear it for all the new subscribers out there. Let's hear it for the viewers, everything else. Like, share, subscribe. Help me out. Come ride with me. And I of course, if you know me, I'm mixed about talking smack about Mike Franzese. I'm mixed. But I do applaud the man for his patriotism and his commentary about the political, the politics. I'm not doing politics on me because I get barred. He's so powerful channel, they won't bar him because YouTube makes big money off of the ads on there and everything else. So I do applaud Mike Franzese. God bless you. Let's hear it for Mike Franzese, folks. Let's hear it for Mike Franzese, all the bullshit aside. As a guy from a military family and had people in the service and everything, and Mike Franzese sticks up for them. Yeah, forget about gangster talk and tax exempt and all that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I get pissed off, yeah. But as an American, I applaud Mike and the dialogue and the way he communicates his position on those topics is impeccable. How about this, Mike Franzese for president? For as much as I bashed him and talked shit about him, I'd vote for Mike Franzese for president. And but sometimes I don't see. He wants every dollar. He wants every dollar, and he's such a good thinker on all that. Hey Vic, if Mike Franzese was president, we'd have such a surplus. We'd have such a surplus in this country. It'd be the best time of America ever. Just like Donald Trump, as a businessman and thinker, we don't need to be operating at a loss with all these bullcrap countries. We were operating at a profit. Mike Franzese operates as a profit. And nobody is going to beat Mike Franzese in chess. No Russian leader, no Chinese leader, no leader from anywhere is going to outthink Mike Franzese. So they got Mike Franzese worth $300 billion. Another search has him worth $1 million. Now I don't know that ideal net worth website. How the hell do they got Mike Franzese worth $1 million? The tax casting was making what, $8 to $12 million a week. And plus, you got to figure the investments he's made over the last 5 or 10 years. His investment financial portfolio has to be enormous. But it's just that these websites can't get that intimate with the true numbers, because he's got the money sheltered. He's got it in tax exempt things. He's got it in nonprofits. So none of these websites that you do a Google search on and ask how much Mike Franzese is worth, you're going to get, just like we got, 1 million on one website to 30 billion, 300 billion. I would give you an honest estimate as he's worth close to $500 million. And growing every day. Probably 50 to 100,000 every day. So we can speculate and everything else, but I put Mike Franzese in the thumbnail so I could get views and everything, and then maybe I can get an extra subscriber and everything else. Ride with me. I'm going to do some other topics and everything else. I do want to do another video on Big Gene DeFrancisco and another old-time gangster. He's 85 years old. And he don't watch social media, but he watched one of my shows and he really got pissed off at me for being on social media. You know, the old school gangsters, you know, he was in shock when he saw that Mike Franzese and Sammy the Bull Gravano had YouTube channels. He started swearing in Italian. I mean, this guy was in the freaking grand scheme of things in the 50s and 60s and 70s. That was his prime time, being 20, 30, 40 during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where now he's 80 years old in the year 2023, and would never imagine that you would get mafia bosses on social media. You know, he more or less communicated that if you said something to a newspaper that could get you 2 bullets or whatever, let alone voluntarily doing a YouTube channel. And he told me, stop this one. So that is that, folks. I do applaud Mike Franzese for his patriotism and his take on our American politics and the players and everything else, because he's very, very intelligent and very, very smart. He's a great speaker with great knowledge. And yes, I've bashed him because I know there was some discrepancies in some of those things, but it's social media. Who cares? Who cares if he's lying or telling the truth? Sammy the Bull is lying, or if I'm lying or telling the truth. You guys just got to like us. That's all. You got to be a likable personality. And I get scattered. I don't have all the bells and whistles here, but we just do it and we grow together. That's the definition of this YouTube channel. And that's how it's defined. How it is perceived by you out there and how you take it. I just hope it's a nice 10, 20 minutes and we have a little fun. I try to remember some stories or give a little commentary on things, and we just have a nice ride. Okay, we just take a nice ride and chop some things up and see where it goes. And I do view Mike Franzese a lot different than Sammy the Bull Gravano. When I did the mob informants, yeah, I went a little crazy on Mike Franzese. But Sammy the Bull, you don't even have to talk nothing about. It's self-evident. It's just self-evident, Sammy the Bull. It's just self-evident. Nobody's perfect and everybody makes mistakes. But in the grand scheme of things, you know, Sammy the Bull Gravano cannot shine Mike Francese's shoes. No. Mike Franzese, I have a lot of respect for. I get pissed off on a lot of things, and I might be wrong about some of my memories or this or that. I'll put that out there. But I kind of have an idea of what was going on. I was running around back then, and I ran into a lot of people many years ago. And it's not secondhand or third-hand information. It's when you're right there. On all these YouTube channels and all these other commentaries and dialogues, it's all secondhand, third-hand gossip, gibberish, speculation, and everything else. And then they hang their hat on that speculation, and it's just like, well, the real intelligent person would see through that. You know, but everybody has the option to view who they want to view. That's all. It's a big buffet. It's a big social media buffet. Some might like this off the table, and some might prefer this off the table or that. Some might say, well, I'll take some of this macaroni and cheese. I'll take a little of this roast beef, and I'll take a brownie. And stuff like that. Entertainment, personalities, and that's what social media, from a marketing aspect, from marketing. Yeah, and that, you know, peel the layers back and, you know, and get to the core value of what's going on with mobster channels and social media. Them guys have recognizable names, name recognition that's going to get them 1 million subscribers overnight, 1 million views in 2 days. I might get 3 subscribers. Well, they froze my channel. I got frozen up there, so I've been doing this over a year now, but I got 350, 60 subscribers. So I'm proud of that. And I thank the people out there that supported me. Go back and look at my other videos. I mean, I got 100 videos on there. And go back, look at them if you're a new viewer, and just see how I roll. And then if you want to continue to ride with me, that's cool. And I also do the Jesus Calling stuff here, spiritual psychology. I'm just going to randomly turn to a page. All right. Don't run because you're going to view me as a preacher. This is psychology. A lot of the Bible is psychology and wisdom, like Proverbs. It's wisdom. Don't run. I'm down on gaining some knowledge. I want to gain. Let's just flip to anywhere. Boom. I am perpetually with you, taking care of you. This is the most important fact of your existence. I am not limited by time or space. My presence with you is a forever promise. You need not to fear the future. Let's not fear. Let's be confident. I am already there. You need to take that quantum leap into eternity. You'll find me awaiting you. Your future is in my hands. I release it to you day by day, moment by moment. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow. There's no value in that worry. There's fear. And who wants to promote fear? Lucifer. Yeah, we got pending things that are important. I got to pay this bill. I got to do this. I got to do that. Bah, 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 bah. But live in hope and not fear, and connect to that universe. I want you to live this day abundantly, seeing all there is to see, doing all there is to do. Don't be distracted by your future concerns. This is psychology, okay? It's not Bible thumping talk, okay? So don't run, my friends. And so let's leave it at that. There's a couple more paragraphs, but you get the message. So Vic, thanks, my man. You are the man. You're the man, Victor. He's been riding with me for a long, long time. Cheers to Victor. So there it is. Mike Franzese. How much is Mike Franzese worth? I'll pencil him in for $500 million and growing and everything else. But it's a testimony. It's a testament. It's a testament to just the guy is so sharp. He's so sharp. I mean, he knew every move to make it at this age. 72, 74 years old. He made it to be. And I saw him just looking like a little pencil neck accounting in New York a million years ago. Shot caller. And then never would imagine his rise. But quite impressive. Quite impressive. You know, not many of the old-time mobsters would agree him having a social media channel, which would be completely taboo. But to each his own, and he has a right. So, in a nutshell. So, thank you, Joe. So, I try to put a little narrative on that because nobody really knows how much. Mike Franzese is probably worth $500-600 million and growing, and nobody will know because it's all sheltered and it's all nonprofit. Nobody knows. Only him and his accountant. It's not for public information. You know, if he's running under some kind of church name, a nonprofit name, he's got that Breaking Out Foundation that is probably nonprofit and tax exempt. So you can't gather the numbers and tally the numbers up to really know how much. I've had some people ask me my opinion on that off screen and on screen, but nobody will really know. If we are wrong, we are mistaken, and we're falling short of the real numbers. If I'm wrong, it's because I estimated too little of how much he is worth. For the sake of error on my side, if I estimated $500 million and it's not true, I would guess that I was wrong, and it's $1 billion and counting. But nobody will ever know. Nobody will ever know. I just would be impressed if he spent $10 million on a food pantry, $10 million on a crisis center, $10 million on a homeless building. Then I'd be impressed. That money would only be pennies to him. Then I'd be impressed and say he's really trying. But everything he's connected to is connected to some kind of nonprofit, tax exempt, tax shelter, everything that he's connected to, which I interpret as greed. Sorry. Greed. I'm from the show me state. Show me. Show me. Show the picture on your channel, Mike, that you're breaking ground on a $15 million facility. Show your viewers. Show your little pencil neck subscribers that sit on your every word about your mob stories. Show those little punks. Show them. Show them. They're just interested in a mob story. They have a right to that. But you want to impress somebody, the real thinkers out there, break ground on some $1 million facilities instead of all you're selling trinkets on the corner. Everything is selling, 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 selling. You got a little bullshit foundation you put up there, and now you're honorable. Now you're honorable, which is just another tax-exempt tax shelter. How much do you want? Those homeless people running around in California, Mike, they're getting a little closer to your residence. They're not only in those depressed areas anymore. They're 3 blocks from your house now. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Joe. Remember, it's not partly cloudy. It's partly sunny. All right. Thank God it's Friday. And I'm going to do a Big Gene video because there's a couple other things I want to stress about Big Gene because the old timer that I know was his nephew. And he's got some nice Scooby snack facts for us. So thanks a lot. God bless you all. Share, like, subscribe, and all that. And I appreciate your support. Thanks a lot, folks. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Victor, for riding with me.